welcome back to the Unorthoblocks server. I'm Draken, the DrakenWerks, and I have finally given a name to my main base. We're going to call it Drakenspire, and it's going to be based on the name of what you'll see we'll build later. But today I thought, look at the front here. It still looks like quite a bit of a mess, needs a bit of a design and a bit of a spruce up, so I thought we'll give it a bit of a tidy up, do something with the front here. And so the first bit I thought was, look at this front bit here. So the way it's naturally fallen after I took the mountain down there reminded me quite a lot of Minas Tirith from the Lord of the Rings series. So you know, the great big white city that sits just outside of Mordor, and it has that really high sort of platform that comes off the top outside of the central keep at the top of the city. And I thought, well, it looks a bit like that at the front there. It's got kind of this ledge out there, so I sort of do a design along that route. But for ages I've been using iron picks and didn't have a proper XP farm. So the guys on the server pointed out that we actually have a couple of XP farms. This one here is one example. This is the gold farm that I've started using. So now I'm able to use diamond tools when doing a lot of my landscaping, because now I can come here and get loads of XP. And you just look at the amount of piglins that just kept running over, zombie piglins, because we haven't updated to 1.16 just yet. And you can see them just all running over. The amount of XP you get for doing repairs and everything else is so handy. I was so glad they pointed this out to me, because otherwise I was just going to suffer forever. And as you can see now with diamond devices, we just get to cut back a lot quicker. So yeah, I thought I would build this to sort of reflect that we have this nice long sort of curved platform at the front here, but it did mean getting rid of a lot of the terrain that was around there as well, so it meant cutting it right the way down. And what we did was I brought it down one level lower than the water surrounding it and just left a single block just holding the water back for now. There is a reason why I do it this way, and I find it quite that's a handy technique for getting rid of stuff that's in the sea. And just destroying stuff at sea, so you can make it sort of disappear beneath the oceans. But you can see we also got the general shape around there as well. So we got this like curving sort of thing. So I basically built the outline at the top there, planned it out, and then created curves at the front as well. So we've got the curve coming at the front as well. I haven't quite decided what materials I'm going to actually finally settle on for the underside of this, around the bit there. Everything else I completed around here, but I didn't quite get that bit done, so I'm still deciding what to do with that one. But you can see as we cut back here, we're still having that one lip. And the reason we have that just one gap down from the ocean level is that we will fill that with water later on, so we can actually make that look a bit more natural and sit in with the actual surroundings there of the water. And we're going to probably, no doubt, have to do a lot more landscaping around here. I mean, this is just in front of the city itself. Also, in front of the keep, I should say. We haven't even built the full city yet. That's a long way off yet. But for at least for what we got there, it's getting there a bit closer, and then we obviously just smooth off the top here, making it ready. Got rid of our planning outline that we had there, and then we got making the space ready. But while we were doing this happened, and someone came into my base and decided, with an absolute atrocity, changed my flag over to this flag here. Yeah, I mean, as you might know, my flag is based off the Welsh flag. It's not quite the Welsh flag. We've seen some of my videos, but mainly because you can't build a full dragon in that sort of design there. But you know, it's still that same design. It's the white and the green, and then with like a red diamond on the front there and everything else. And someone decided to come along and change it over to the St. George's flag of England. Yeah. So thank you, Gray, for that one. We'll have to sort that one out later. But meanwhile, we carried on then building the front of our base once we swapped it back. Thought a few little flowers out the front here. And then carrying on that sort of theme from Minas Tirith, I thought, right, we'll build a single tree. You know, Minas Tirith had a single tree up on there. Okay, we know our keep isn't as high up in the air as Minas Tirith's keep was. But still, it was kind of cool design. So it was a bit inspired by that. And it gives us that sort of design we've got there at the moment. And then this is why we had it sunken down by one level below the water level, is so that we can flood that with water and then just take everything away straight away, and it's just going to sit there quite nicely. And then we just cut away underneath the surface a bit. I just cut at random around it just to make it feel a bit more broken up underneath it. If I wanted to go into full details, maybe I would have cut that back down a bit deeper as well, and maybe cut down a bit deeper and put a false floor in, like you'll see us do in a second with something else. But I thought for this, no, it'd be fine. Just cut it back like this, just make it just look a bit more natural around there. And so yeah, we have this final look here. And then after we'd done that, I realised I needed to do a lot more. So I had this plan for a while to build here a dam. Now you can see a picture down the bottom right hand corner. That's the only surviving picture of the dam I built on my other server. So if you knew my old series that I had, we know we stopped that abruptly, and that was because the backups got mucked up by the hosting company. I was absolutely distraught. They lost 3 months worth of data, and some of the stuff they lost, they built this huge airship that was an absolute gorgeous device, and also this dam as well, and with a load of like reservoir behind it and everything else like that. So I thought I'd recreate it here. As I say, I was devastated when we lost the backups there, but I thought we'd rebuild it here. Now this one actually, I think, is actually bigger than the one we built on that server anyway. So it's got one additional outlet on the front here, and I think it's slightly taller. I think it's 1 block taller. I think when I worked it out, I was working out the measurements. But otherwise, yeah, we have this nice walled dam here that's sort of fortifying it. And I didn't want to stop there either. I wanted to go and build the reservoir that sits behind it as well. But to do that, obviously, we needed to remove all of the mountains behind it. And again, this goes back to why we had to constantly go back and forward to the gold farm. The piglin farm, I should say. It does produce gold, which I've left in the chests. I think I've used it so much now that the chests are overflowing with gold. So I don't know whose responsibility is the gold. I'm not actually sure whose farm it is, whether it's just the community and we're supposed to take the gold, or is someone supposed to come along and collect it. I'm not quite sure what the rules are on it. So I've just been using it for XP for now, leaving the gold there. But I think it's starting to overflow a bit because I've had to go back for so many times while I've been removing mountains and changing all the terrain. I thought I'd want to use these mountains more than I did, and I have done. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't have built in such a mountainous area after all. I have said this sort of previously, the joke about building in a mountainous area and then I destroy all the mountains. But yeah. And what you can see here is that I realised I've built an outline for the reservoir over to the right. There's a square reservoir, but I also realised that we're going to have to start working on our main base soon. So, you know, this is only our starter base you see at the front there, and it's going to become the entrance into our main base. But I realised that the main base was going to cut across the actual reservoir itself. So I'm not starting the main base on this session, but what I have done there is just put a circle down in the sky there just to work out where the location of the main base is going to be and where it cuts across where the reservoir is, so I can build around that as well, which is quite cool because it means that the shape of this reservoir, because I've already got this small little AFK fish farm I built there as well. I know it's a bit cheaty, but you know, as soon as we go to 1.16 anyway, all it's going to be good for is fish. You know, these old AFK farms aren't going to work as well as they used to. But I thought, yeah, you know, let's build around that and build around the main base at the back there. And it's going to create a bit more of a shape and an angle to the reservoir than if we just have it as a rectangle. And what you can see we've done here is we've actually cut away around the edges all the way down to the sort of what will be the minimum shallow depth of the actual reservoir. But because we're working with terrain, we're also using all the deep parts as well. I'm going to keep those deep parts as well, so we'll have deeper parts as well as lighter parts, and putting in the side walls all the way around there. And I love this pattern in here, though it may change its style slightly when we hit 1.16, because obviously the way that cobblestone walls and everything else work, they become like a flat block against the wall. So it may look slightly different when we change into the next version. So whether I'll still like it as much or not, I don't know. I quite like the way they look at the moment, the way those pillars work at the moment. So I'm gonna have to see how it looks when we go into the next version when we do update. But as you can see, what we've done here is once we have dug it all out and then put a false floor in over the top there. But before we actually got any further in with that false floor, we had a visit by Dat Nerd, who was after a pair of breeding foxes. And you can see the need now actually for get all the pathway and sorted everything here, because we hadn't had the paths down yet or done all the things. He had a hell of a journey trying to get just across where our reservoir was going to be, to get them over to the portal to be able to take them back to his base, which that was a fun chore in itself as well, trying to get the foxes through the nether there. Afraid, unfortunately, I didn't really pick up much recordings for that one, so we can't really show you what went on there. But honestly, we got the first pair back. There were no deaths, honest. It was all straightforward and nice and easy. Yeah, we'll just take it at that. But yeah, here's why we built the false floor in here again. It's because we can then just go around and we can put the water around the edge. Nice and easy, just all around the edges. You don't need to go across the center, because with water mechanics in Minecraft, if you do the edges, it will just fill itself naturally towards the center. And then we can go back over it and we can remove the false flooring, which is currently now hiding all the terrain that we built underneath it. And you can see the water just goes straight down and it fills the whole reservoir, and we get a nice filled reservoir in there. So we've built this reservoir full of water. I'm not sure what else would do into there. You have to be careful when you do these sort of things, if you do build false things, because you can end up making an accidental mob farm, and then it becomes really fun when you're trying to take it off, because as you're removing it from the top there, you end up with mobs floating up to the surface. You know, the zombies end up becoming drowned, and the skeletons trying to fire through the water, and creepers popping up to the surface. So it becomes a bit of a battle then when you're sometimes trying to take that false floor off. But after that, then we just backfill the space. I could have just put in another false layer and maybe lit up the chambers underneath it and kept it hollow, but I thought, no, we'll fill it in properly under there where we're going to build the pathway there. And then we'll just go back over it and we'll start putting the paths in as well around the outside there. So that this is now going to become sort of the actual sort of reservoir area. And then maybe I'm thinking I took down, I didn't show it on the video here, but I did take down one of the mountains beside there, and I might build a series of tree farms there. And we'll build some other buildings and surroundings around here. And I think this area is going to be full of like bigger buildings for the moment, and we'll probably have behind it, we got the main base, and we'll put some smaller sort of housing and residential, and actually turn this area into like a nice little town stroke city area that's built on the server by ourselves there. But yeah, I mean, I was really quite happy with the way that this build turned out in the end. I just, you know, this is like a couple of days work, literally just a couple of days work. Still got to work out what I'm going to do at the front lip there, not just on the underside there. I'm not going to keep it all as andesite bricks like that. I've got some ideas that I might play with before changing it around, so at the moment that bit's not quite finished, but the top is, and I like these sort of little sunken lights we've got there as well. And then obviously we shoot around to the dam here, and you can see the water now pouring out, and I think it just looks absolutely brilliant where you've got these two levels of water and the water just pouring through underneath there as well. I think that sits in there quite nicely, with the little hut up on the top there on its own little sort of semi-island in the back there as well. So yeah, I was quite happy the way that build ended up developing in the end. But earlier on, we did have that case of where someone had decided they were going to change our flag over. And like I said, we just couldn't let that stand. So we're out here in a classified region on board one of my newest vessels, the small one, the IDV Retaliator, with the sails fully filled with the wind there, where we are going to get our revenge on Grey for changing our flag over. And yeah, and I love the map art design he did of his dwarven head here. I think it's fantastic. But yeah, we were going to change it over for our dragon there. I love the design of Grey's base. I think it's fantastic, the dwarven look that he's got here. He's got such fantastic designs. I mean, this is like his blacksmith here as well. He does a lot of medieval builds as well, so it's actually really cool to go and see his stuff. He's got some awesome stuff. I'll link his video below for his reaction to the prank that we pulled off there. Changing all his signs over as well. I mean, the map art he did as well was fantastic, let's be fair. So, you know, we haven't destroyed it, we haven't lost it, he's still got it there. But, you know, it was a nice little prank. And I'm Draken, this has been the DrakenWerks, and I'm thinking that with all of this is heating up on the server at the moment that maybe we should have a presence in town. So maybe next episode we should get on that. Bye.